I'm Ollie Rodriguez, hope you're all doing alright today, and I am aware that I'm a little late to this about the Logic Confessions of a Dangerous Mind album, but what I like to do, especially when it comes to music and albums more than anything, because singles I'm much more inclined to just listen to it once and then make a review like I did for my Joyner Lucas ISIS video, but with albums I like to kind of sit back and actually kind of listen, just appreciate it, or like just gather my thoughts better on an album rather than just listening to it once and making a full out review about it and just being like, yeah, this is what I think about it, because you can't do that with a first listen. And this album I'm really struggling to actually review. And ever since the track Joyner Lucas dropped with Logic featuring on it, it's actually kind of made me go back to actually wanting to talk about the album itself and actually give a bit more of an opinion on it. As you can kind of tell if you're listening in that video, which you can go and watch right here as well, is you can kind of see my reaction is kind of saying, I say in the video that Logic did better than he did ever on this album. And that is true, except from the song Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and I was really surprised to hear Logic rap better on that song than he ever really attempted to with Eminem. Like, it's like with Joyner Lucas on Lucky You. On Lucky You, Joyner did probably his best verse he's done because he was doing it with the best there is, the GOAT, whereas Logic feels like he did an alright hook and whatnot, but then his actual verses themselves, if they were on the level, on par with what he did with Joyner Lucas for Eminem, you could say he brought his best with Eminem. But after listening to ISIS, you can just tell he didn't do his best on most of the songs on Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And that doesn't just go for Homicide, that generally goes for pretty much every song on the album, except for in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, the song itself. And it just feels like most of the songs here are half-assed in terms of his lyrics. When there's a good hook, it gets ruined because Logic just decides to actually make it so repetitive to the point you don't want to listen to it. When there's a song that feels like there's a concept to it and it actually feels like it could carry on into something, it gets cut off because it's a minute long. When you have features who are making verses that are better than your own, including Will Smith, it makes you look worse as a rapper. You're just not going to have a good album, are you? And the concept itself being hyped up to be this whole thing about social media, like you can see it in H3 podcast, you can see it on Twitter, you could see it. He even said this whole thing about it was going to be Under Pressure Logic meets Bobby Tarantino Logic. And this album definitely kind of meets Bobby Tarantino in a sense, but it comes across more as a Bobby Tarantino 2.5. And other than a few samples and the actual song Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, there's barely any Under Pressure Logic on this album. Logic saying that he was going to use social media as his concept actually becomes more of a lack of a concept, which actually makes him look a bit out of touch. Because when you have a concept, you basically want to take the audience on a journey throughout this concept and talk to them. You have to talk to them as an audience about the concept at hand that you want to provide and have a discussion about. And one of the reasons I'm saying Logic wanting to talk about social media as a concept is a lack of a concept is because look at Under Pressure. It's all about his personal experience with having depression, essentially, and everything, all his struggles in life. That's what Under Pressure is about. It's something that's personal to him, whereas you take on social media as a concept, you've got to talk to everyone because it affects everyone's social media in one way or another, whether that's good or whether that's bad. Basically, it feels like Logic couldn't come up with a concept for this album, so he just picked a random subject that people have different ways of thinking about. And like, I find it's mainly a generational thing, whereas like the older generation a bit more like, social media, it's not that great for our youth, is it? Whereas the youth are like, actually, social media is great. Sure, there are some negative sides to it, we're aware of that, but overall, it's had a massive positive and great impact on the world as a whole. And it feels like Logic just went, yep, I'll take social media, bang it in there, and it's literally everything that he wanted to say is already said in one song, being Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and then he makes two other songs that one of them is 1 minute 20 seconds, the other one is 2 minutes, and that's it. That's as much concept as you get about social media in this album. And I can definitely say this is Logic's worst album lyrically. But with that said, it is an album that I keep coming back to and keep listening to. And the person I think I can actually thank for that is Six, Logic's producer. Whenever I go to re-listen to the album, I listen properly to Confessions of a Dangerous Mind and Homicide, and then that's it. And then it gets to Icy, and I kind of listen to that song, but it's just because I find it a nice kind of summer feel to it that's just casual. You can just whatever with it. It's a random song that I weirdly like. And then the rest of the songs aren't songs I would add to a playlist or anything, but when I listen to the album, I will sit through and listen to them and actually be appealed by them, but only because of the beats on them, and just because the lyrics themselves, I just don't care after listening to it for the amount of time I've listened to it, and I just go, yeah, well, the lyrics are there, they're just adding some substance to the actual songs themselves, but I can listen to them for the actual beat and music of them. So even with this album being Logic's worst ever album, I still find enjoyment in listening to it, which is why I've kind of struggled to make this review, and I think I've actually finally nailed how I wanted this review to come out. However, I do have a breaking point, and that's that when the song of, what's it even called? I don't even know. It's the one with Will Smith, Don't Be Afraid to Be Different. Yep, think that's it. But basically, every time that song comes on, have to skip. And it's not even because of Will Smith, it's actually because it sounds like something you get at the end of a fucking CBeebies show or like a kid's show for like literally like anyone below the age of 5, and just telling them, don't be afraid to be different, be yourself, and it's like the credits are rolling up. It's an utter garbage song. It's the worst song on the album and probably one of the worst songs I've heard, and also Logic's energy in it just feels like he's just there looking at his watch being like, yeah, we got it to 50 minutes yet. Oh wait, I'll just keep saying, don't be afraid to be different, y'all. Don't be afraid to be different. Fuck off! In summary, I think Logic's want for a good album is there, but his actual efforts aren't, whereas Six's efforts are absolutely there, and he makes some really great beats, I find. They're actually enough to make me want to come back and listen to the album. And I'll quickly touch on it. Apparently there's this whole rumour that there's going to be a part 2, and I've also seen the artwork, which is right there right now, but I honestly don't know if I want a part 2 to this album. I just want Logic to take a bit of a break, a bit of a musical break from actually creating, and just actually spend some time making like another Under Pressure, or another The Incredible True Story album. I want another sort of album like those, or even Bobby Tarantino, but I think there's enough Bobby Tarantino stuff as well, and especially with this album being like the 2.5 to it and not even being as good as the other two, it's like, I just want him to take a break. Maybe for a year, maybe even 2, that would be great, and like kind of do how Kendrick Lamar does it, drop an album every 2 years, I don't know, or not even, he doesn't have to do it every 2 years, he can just take a break and do 2 years, just like we hear nothing from Logic, and then out of nowhere he just comes back, drops an album, it's actually like another on par with Under Pressure or something, and everyone goes, actually, you still got it. Which is why I called my last video talking about Joyner Lucas's latest song, Logic's Redemption, because I think a lot of people were like, after Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Logic, he's definitely not there. He's not all there in terms of his lyric content anymore, whereas he drops the verse he did on Joyner's track, and it actually made me, at least, and I think a lot of people go, this is what we wanted on your actual Confessions of a Dangerous Mind album. Please bring more rapping like this, or have more like rapping like that, but also like there was some ideas within there, like the topics he was saying within there, and it's like, please can we get some more of this in your actual music that's on your own stuff. And when he does do a new album, get Joyner on there and do another song with him, because those two guys are actually on par lyric wise when they both try, and they actually create some great stuff. So that's been my review, finally, of Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. This can actually get off of my mind now, because I've finally made this video and got the thoughts I wanted to get out there. And yeah, that's been my thoughts of Logic's latest album, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Let me know what you thought down below. I'll see you in my next video. I've been Ollie Rodriguez. See you later.